What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. I hope you guys are well and warm, kicking and fly today because, well, it's a beautiful Friday afternoon, and I've got a topic of conversation for you. And this is one that I feel is going to make a few people chuckle, but nonetheless, I think it's something that needs to be talked about. Lately, there's been a conversation around water curing, its legitimacy, how to do it, and whether or not it is a practical method of curing your product. I want to get into it. I want to discuss the pros, the cons, my opinion, and a little bit more. But before I do, I want to give a huge shout out to our channel sponsors, guys. Huge shout out to Spider Farmer. Spider Farmer has been a sponsor of this channel for a number of years. They are a leading name in LEDs. They recently released the SE4500, which is a perfect light for a small space. If you're in a 2x3 or a 2x2 garden tent, this light is perfect for you. It's about 430 watts, coming in at about $465. You can order this light at spider-farmer.com. Use promo code PIGEONS420. You'll save a few dollars off at checkout, and you can get a great light for a small package. Spider Farmer has a ton of new available products, their SE series, the G series, and they've recently released some smaller, more supplemental lighting as well. You can get all of that at spider-farmer.com and use promo code PIGEONS420. Save yourself some money. Also, a huge shout out to AC Infinity. AC Infinity is a well-known name in our community, and the reason for that is their great products. Everything from air circulation systems to grow kits to fans to humidifiers, you name it, AC Infinity has everything. Go to acinfinity.com. Use promo code PIGEONS420. You can line your garden with everything you need to harvest bountiful flowers and just knock it out of the park with great products. acinfinity.com, promo code PIGEONS420. But let's have a conversation around water curing. What is it? This is from the Kenigma.com website. Gives a guide on water curing. Water curing weed guide. How does it work? Curing cannabis in water allows undesirable compounds such as chlorophyll, carbohydrates, proteins, and salts to be slowly removed. Since THC, CBD, and other cannabinoids are fat soluble and hydrophobic, water curing should have very limited impact on the final product. Unlike cannabinoids, the most common terpenes, some terpene-like compounds, and flavonoids are in fact water soluble. The process of water curing helps remove these and allow for a smoother smoking experience. However, as a result, water curing cannabis will also remove some of the taste and smell. Seems counterintuitive, which is preserved when air curing. What are the pros and cons of curing cannabis in water? Both air and water curing cannabis will significantly improve the quality of your final product. However, one is not necessarily better than the other. Instead, the best curing technique is the one that meets your needs and elevates your user experience. So what are some of the pros? Water curing cannabis is simple and requires minimal equipment. The process is quick and usually takes between 5 to 10 days. Curing weed in water results in a smoother smoking experience. The smell and taste are less noticeable, making it a great ingredient for edibles and topicals. The cons, and I think this is key, the bag appeal decreases significantly as water-cured buds lose some of their vibrant colors and may look slightly washed out. Some terpenes or other flavors and smells will be lost in the process. Though water curing is faster than air curing, a decrease in taste and smell might not be worth it for some. A significant risk of mold during the drying step. Now, I'm asking why on earth anybody would do this in the first place. As somebody who is a proponent to washing buds, or has washed buds in the past, this seems absolutely ludicrous, and not to mention an incredibly difficult idea to get traction on the internet with. Let me tell you, some of the biggest proponents to bud washing are just that you're going to be removing a significant portion of product. Forget about the dirt, dust, and all the other bugs that you might be removing from the product. People are very hung up on the concept of losing trichomes, terpenes, flavonoids, you name it. A guide to water curing. The equipment required for water curing cannabis is pretty basic. All you need is some herb, some distilled water, containers and lids, and tin foil. I feel like that's wrapped around your head. When preparing to cure cannabis in water, ensure that your buds are perfectly trimmed. The flowers should be uniform and well manicured, as it will be harder to improve the appearance after curing. Put the trimmed buds in a mason jar and add distilled water. Do not pack the jars to the rim. A good rule of thumb is to fill your jars about 2/3 full of flour. The buds must be fully submerged in water at all times. It is very important your buds do not float. Placing the jar upside down might solve the problem, but only if the lids are screwed on tightly. If you struggle to keep your weed submerged in water, tinfoil might help. Try pushing the buds down to the bottom of the jar and placing a piece of tinfoil firmly above them. This should prevent your buds from floating. The water from the jar needs to be replaced daily with fresh distilled water until the water is clean. Make sure the buds are once again fully submerged when you replace the water. Remember, the dirtier the weed, the longer it takes to complete the process. How to dry weed after water curing. Once the curing process is done, it's time to dry your cured cannabis. You can let the buds air out by placing them on a paper towel or dry rack. Remember to turn them regularly and to ensure all sides get dry and to avoid mold growth. Alternatively, you can use a food humidifier for faster results. Before water curing your weed buds, make sure they are not moldy. Curing water and cannabis in water does not remove mold. In fact, the high moisture creates an environment that mold can thrive in, so always check your harvested buds before you start using them. Is water curing cannabis the same as bud washing or the ice hash water extraction process? It's not the same. This technique is used to make sure the buds are of better quality than when consumed straight after being cut from the plant. The final product is perfect for discreet use and is excellent for making edibles and topicals, as the process removes a lot of taste and smell. Water curing is not for everybody, but if you want to cut down on your curing time or would like weed to have less flavor but smoke a bit smoother, this could be the process for you. Said nobody ever. Do you want cannabis that tastes less, smells worse, but might be smooth? I can guarantee you don't. I can't see any acceptable reason why anybody is water curing their buds. I have seen it a lot in the comment section in regards to pigeons. Are you water curing? Absolutely not. What seems desirable after water curing is the water, not the buds. I was mistaken. I did think that you shook the buds in the water, but I guess it just sits in the water. That doesn't seem very wise to me. We all know that cannabinoids break down, plant matter breaks down, and leaving it in water for 5 to 10 days, as described by this article, not only increases the time that you're going to be... I'm really confused, to be honest with you, because we all know that a good cure is well over 2 weeks. We're talking 30 days, upwards of 60, maybe 90 days. And to think that you're just going to water cure for 5 to 10 days for weed that's not going to taste as good, it's not going to smell as good, it's going to be maybe a little bit smoother, I'm kind of lost. I'm not sure why you put all that effort into gardening and flowering that plant for as long as you did, to just throw it all out the window and hope that the process would kind of just magically do it itself. I would not recommend water curing. I would recommend just taking the time that it requires to dry and cure your products the right way without involving water. I am curious to see if there are any studies that would prove that this is a positive technique, but I'm going to wager, just on what I know and based on the article's very wording, that this is not a plausible way to cure your plants. Of course, I want to hear from you guys whether or not, this is a valid technique. Is this something you've tried? If so, have you done any side-by-sides? I really have a feeling this is not a valid technique. I feel like this is the internet trolling the cannabis community. I feel like as the guy who may or may not have popularized washing buds, this is like the ultimate troll move. You know what I mean? Like, okay, just let them soak in water then and see if it works, I feel like this is what somebody would tell somebody that they didn't want to see succeed. What to do, Yeah, just leave them in a jar. Let them soak in there for a week, and let me see how it works out. Anyways, Mr. Grow It put out a great video earlier. I would highly recommend you go check that out. I'll leave a link to that in the description. If you guys have any questions, any comments, concerns, please feel free to fill me in the comment section below. I know you guys will do that anyways. However, that's about all the time I have. Thanks for watching, guys. Peace.